You know, I've taken a lot of accident reports in my days, but the one I'm about to tell you, or one of them, is about the wildest one I've ever heard of. I mean, it's just unbelievable as far as the information that he failed to give me, all right? Now, I've taken a lot of accident reports in my days. 10 years as a safety director for a 500 truck trucking company. 6 years as safety director for a 200 truck trucking company. I've taken a lot of accident calls. And sometimes the driver will, let's just say, tend to be a little optimistic when he calls and he tells you what really happened and how bad the damage is. Because sometimes they just kind of want to pretend it didn't happen. And this is a smaller one here. The one I'm about to tell you is out of this world. But a smaller one I'm about to tell you about, we had a driver, and he was new with us, and he calls from Orlando. He'd rear end the back of somebody in a truck stop or something. He said that the hood on his truck was cracked. So I said, okay, well, we'll come on in and I'll see you in the morning. Just stop by and come up and see me. So during the night, he got to the yard, and left, went home, never saw him again. But when I drove up to the yard, there is the truck sitting out there. We're a flatbed company, so we have bungee cords, you know, for the tarps. And the hood of this truck must have had 100 bungee cords holding it together. I'm not joking. So anyhow, never saw the driver again. So that's one of the cases where this driver was probably a little optimistic about what really happened. Between the hood's cracked and it takes 100 bungee cords to hold it together. But this other accident I'm going to tell you about, and I've got to tell you, I'm not putting drivers down the way this happened. You know, a lot of drivers go hundreds, thousands, millions of miles without an accident. Go years without an accident. And some of the drivers who are the most cool, calm, collective guys I've ever seen can have an accident. It doesn't even have to be a major. And really it stresses them out very badly. I've seen some of them that were, you know, they were John Wayne in person, for those of you who know what John Wayne was. But cool, calm, and collective in person, they were highly experienced driver, and then have an accident and basically come unglued. But this guy, I'm sitting at the office and I get the accident call, and what happened, he tells me, he says, well, I pulled over to the side of the road to tighten down some loose straps. Now, why he didn't stop at this rest area a quarter mile up the road, I don't know. So I stopped on the side of the road to tighten up some loose straps, and when I started going again, I'm getting out on the highway at 45 miles an hour, which isn't good. And here comes a truck at cruise speed, another tractor trailer, and rear ends him. And they wind up pulling over to the shoulder in front of this rest area. So I ask him the normal questions, you know, are you okay? He says, yeah. You know, everybody okay? Yeah. Your truck drivable? Yeah. And I'm trying to see if this is you know, everybody's okay, no transport, wanting to make sure, see if anybody's going to be towed, wanting to see if it's a DOT accident or not. So I said, is the other guy, what is the condition of his truck? And the driver tells me, well, the front end's smoking some. So I'm thinking, well, it busted his radiator. So it wasn't but about 35 miles down the road, so I drove to the scene. I drive up there, and I could not believe what I'm seeing, because the truck that rear-ended us at cruise speed, he is on his side in the median in front of the rest area. Not only that, you know, the cargo, he was hauling these Jello pops or whatever they are, you know, that's already made. The top of his trailer came open. Those Jello pops are scattered all over the rest area. I find out later from the driver, when I'm talking to him now, that they had to cut driver number 2 out of the truck and life flight him away. Now those are some pretty serious details to kind of forget to mention to me. All reality, I have an idea this driver was so stressed out and panicked, he called me and was given this information before he ever even got out of the truck to look. That's what I think. So, big major accident, and was given very little information to it, so it taught me a lesson about being a little more thorough about how I handle, you know, the accidents myself, as far as questioning, ask a few more questions in another way to kind of help get the answers. Now, just for fun, I made a little checklist and I sent it to my team. And like I say, this is exaggerating a little bit, and this is just for fun. So this is the accident checklist I sent to them. Somebody has an accident. Ask them these questions. Number 1, are you okay? If yes, then go to question number 2. Is anybody hurt? Number 3, how many people involved? Number 4, how about those people? Are they hurt? Number 5, how many deaths? Number 6, how many are still alive? Number 7, are any of the living hurt? Number 8, is your truck drivable? Number 9, do we need to do anything to your drivable truck before you can move it? Number 10, have you walked around and looked it over? Number 11, is there anything attached to your truck that doesn't belong there? Number 12, is there any fluid on the ground? If so, describe it. Green, clear, red, smells like diesel, gas, etc. Number 14, if the liquid is red, is there a body laying on top of it? I called a little hell over that one. Number 15, were you given a citation? And if they say no, ask if they were given a ticket. And then ask if you take photos. So I learned a lot about that. That's my checklist, and I just sent it to my team. Had it for fun, but I ran across it. I want to tell you one more story, and again, these are all true stories. This is another true story, and this is one of the reasons that I am a strong advocate of driver-facing cameras, all right, and the event recorders. I had an attorney friend. We're not old friends, not old buddies or anything, but I used him in Dallas on a couple of cases, and so I knew him well enough for that. We happened to be at a seminar in Indianapolis, and I was having breakfast, and he just happened to come sit at the same table as me. And he was telling me about a case he just finished up, and this other company, they had an accident. The driver told them the story. It wasn't his fault, so now they're defending it, spending a lot of money to defend this accident, the company and the driver. So they did all these depositions, probably a mediation, that's all this stuff back and forth, attorneys back and forth, and accident reconstructionists, all this stuff. It gets super expensive. And they were actually going to court. They were in court that morning. The court case was going to start that morning in about 20 minutes. Everybody's all lined up. All the attorneys are there on both sides. The judge is about to come out and sit down in about 10 minutes. And the driver called the attorney over and said, there's probably one little thing I need to tell you before this starts. I don't know what it was. But when he told that story to that attorney, it just changed the whole case around, and they just had to go ahead and settle it the best they could. But, it costs so much money. That's the thing about driver-facing cameras. Okay, whatever the case, hopefully most of the time these cameras are going to exonerate you. But in the case where you're doing something wrong and we lose them, well, it's just time to go ahead and don't spend $80,000 or $150,000 defending it. Just settle it the best you can, as opposed to spending all that money defending something that you're going to lose anyhow. Anyhow, I appreciate your time. Danny Drummond, tips and tales from a trucking safety director. We'll see you next time.